All right. We have 1 minute to get started. We are live. We have 0 viewers.
Nice. Well, that's perfect. So should we wait for some folks to show up, or
we'll just wait for 1 minute.
Okay.
Until it's actually 11. We are waiting for 1 more minute. All right, let's get started.
Okay.
Hello, everybody playing Game of Stakes players. We are coming to you live from Berkeley, California with another update. Jack and I are actually in the same place at the same time.
I know, right? Sunny Berkeley, California. Well, not so sunny today, but
it will be sunny.
Yeah.
Questions are in the Riot chat in the Game of Stakes room. We will be answering them, but we just wanted to give you a quick update on the upcoming Game of Stakes upgrade. So where are we? On Friday, we successfully launched Gaia 10,000, which we are very proud of. Gaia 10,000 is a major feature upgrade on the testnet software. It's a major new release. It brings us extremely close to launch-ready software. And that testnet has gone off sort of without a hitch. And we've exercised a bunch of different features of the new software release. In fact, Jack has helpfully decided to be Slash on the first block of Gaia 10K, testing the new Tombstone slashing feature.
I was testing the Genesis file and managed to mess up my first block. So a nice double sign there.
So where we are, so given how great Gaia 10K is doing, and a bunch
how many validators do we want? That's like 45
on Gaia 10K.
Yeah.
We were not trying for a big Genesis set. It was like a dozen.
Okay. When I checked yesterday, it looks like.
But like I think we have about probably 40-50 validators on Gaia 10K. So for the most part, Gaia 10K has done its job. We can probably shut it down relatively soon. Unless people want to keep running it. But the main thing we got out of it is we're pretty confident now that the software is stable. And we did a bunch of internal testing yesterday about vesting, which is a new feature that enables you to have what is a simple smart contract that locks funds, especially staking funds, stakeable funds that can't be transferred but can be staked and delegated in our software, which is going to be used for enforcing the
vesting lockups for folks' atoms. So
yeah, specifically for All in Bits or Enderman Inc.'s atoms, which is the only sort of locked up party in the mainnet launch. But we anticipate this feature to be broadly useful to people who are building other chains, which is why we wanted it to be in for the launch.
Yeah, if you want to offer some tokens to your employees and need to have those locked up and time lock vesting contracts, this is a native way to do that within the Cosmos ecosystem. I think there's some plan, and Zaki can speak a little bit more to this, to lock up some additional funds for each of the Game of Stakes validators in a vesting account as well. Do you want to speak to that, Zaki?
Yeah, so let's talk about the plan. So the plan is we are going to upgrade this week to the new software release of the SDK that is running on Gaia 10K. We are going to export state from the current blockchain, and we are going to, from the current Game of Stakes 3 blockchain, we are going to run that state through a script that upgrades that stake and also gives every participant in every account that participated in the sort of sign up process for Game of Stakes an additional set of stake that is locked for vesting. This will encourage people to test out the delegation features of the vesting system and make sure that's all good. Basically, where we're at then so we're going to do this upgrade. We're going to do it this week. And then where we are when we're done is going to be, we're going to be starting the end stage of Game of Stakes. So the end stage of Game of Stakes is pretty much going to be sort of the last battle royale to see who's going to have the highest uptime and who is going to have sort of been the strongest validators during Game of Stakes. We will be picking an end date after the upgrade. I will provide finally answers to a bunch of questions about how scoring is going to be done, and we're going to bring this to an end. And assuming that Game of Stakes is stable and does not halt, we will then be in a release readiness stage for launch, and then we will be setting up. We will probably be targeting a launch date. The intention is after a successful upgrade of Game of Stakes to start actually communicating about the target launch date, assuming Game of Stakes is stable. So what day are we thinking about for the Game of Stakes upgrade?
So Game of Stakes upgrade, we cut the 0.30 release last Friday and got Gaia 10,000 stood up. As Zaki mentioned, we had 0 issues there. Stability is looking quite good. One of the things that's really helped, especially with launching these test nets, if folks who've been around for a while, you remember kind of the 6, 7, 8,000 series, we had a lot of kind of false starts where there were a lot of 7,000 ones and 8,000 ones with misconfigured Genesis. Through that, we've added a lot more validation to the Genesis file, as well as state and some invariants to ensure that we're not randomly printing tokens. And we've really got a lot more stability out of it. So we're anticipating a clean start for Game of Stakes, and we're looking at that being on Thursday. So we'll probably publish the Genesis file tomorrow afternoon, evening, and then have a Thursday start.
We will pick a target block height. I need to do the math to figure out what will be a good final block height for Game of Stakes 3. We will be doing an export and a publishing of a new Genesis file based on that tomorrow evening is what we're targeting. Obviously, we will update people if we find any problems along the way. But there's been an open pull request for software for the script to update the state, and it just needs to be modified to add in the vesting accounts that everyone will be getting. And I'll work with the team to get that done today. So that's the plan. Are there any questions? The Game of Stakes Riot channel, we are open to questions. You guys could have been asking any of this time, but we're ready to answer. We'll hang around for another minute or two to see if any more questions come in. I would just say that, from my point of view, Game of Stakes has been an incredible success. We've seen attack behavior. I love the fact that the level of transaction censorship we're seeing, all of that stuff is really the kinds of things that we were hoping to see in Game of Stakes. Sort of disappointed that we haven't seen any pre-commit censorship attacks, but I've heard that that's pretty hard to pull off just socially. But otherwise, Game of Stakes seems to be really living up to our goals.
Awesome. So as far as questions, it looks like Matt from Figment is typing one out there. But while we're here, there's somebody just asked, are there docs somewhere on how to do proper logging with the SDK? I can go ahead and just sort of briefly answer that. The sort of knobs to change the logging verbosity for the SDK are in the config file that lives by default at Gaia-D, config.toml, and information about those settings will be in the Tendermint repository.
Matt had a question about about how vesting works. There is an open PR for the vesting spec.
I think we closed that, right?
It closed.
That's in docs spec auth vesting.mt.
docs, spec, auth, vesting.
So Matt, as far as how vesting works, if you have funds locked up in a vesting account, you can still delegate those funds. You just can't send them. So that you can earn inflation rewards and block rewards on funds that are not vested yet, but you're unable to send or otherwise move those funds.
Does O3 support auto reward for delegations from Luke? It does not. There is no technical barrier now to implementing this now that F1 has been implemented, but that work remains to be done. TBD if that is something we would do before launch or as an upgrade shortly after launch. It's probably something that you'll see live on Tendermint within the next couple of months. Also, unlike Game of Stakes where inflation is super high, when mainnet launches, we expect inflation will be much lower, and the having to eventually shipping this feature within a couple of weeks after launch is really not the end of the world.
And as far as features that are going to make it in for launch, I've just created a milestone on the SDK repo. I dropped a link in the Game of Stakes channel that contains all of the additional issues that are going to be in the next release that we're tentatively scheduling for next Friday. So that's what we're planning for launch. I don't think the automatic redelegation on bonding is in, but that's definitely something that we're going to get to post-launch in the release after this, likely.
Fotino rewards on Diet 10K. So what's going on with the Fotino rewards on Diet 10K is people are experimenting with the new fee and gas price sort of refactoring, and people are putting in Fotino fees, and those fees are being distributed by the F1 fee distribution. There isn't Fotino inflation. What you are seeing in terms of Fotino rewards is just coming from fee distribution.
Does that help, Matt? Awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, Luke, just to go back, we had that fairly heated discussion a few weeks ago about automatic redelegation. And yeah, we've been, I didn't realize how close it was in terms of getting F1 in. And now that F1 is done, it's something that will become part of the Cosmos SDK shortly.
Yeah, I mean, if we back up a couple of weeks, we were not sure if we were going to be able to get F1 in for launch. So the fact that we were able to, I think, was pretty big. Very excited about that. Looks like Matt's got another question here as well.
Yes, that's what's happening. The inflation rate that I decided to do with Gaia 10K is more comparable to what we will see on mainnet.
Yeah, it's not the Game of Stakes.
Yeah.
This the fee distribution rewards code is something that on mainnet I think is going to get exercised way less and not be as big of an issue. Obviously, with the way the mechanics for Game of Stakes works, it's kind of core. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Does that answer your question, Matt?
I think I have gotten 1 stake as reward so far in Gaia 10K.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. It sounds like we can sign off. So yes, Thursday.
Thursday in the Coliseum.
Watch the chat room. And yeah, so all of the state that is in Game of Stakes 03 is going to get carried over to Game of Stakes 4 via the state export. So all of your hard work. What time?
That's a great question. When we release the Genesis file, it will have a Genesis time on the file, and at that time you will know.
Exactly. Well, I haven't made a decision yet. Yeah.
So no great answer on that one. Sorry. When we have it ready, we'll let you guys know. but likely probably midday PST if I had to guess. If we get the Genesis file out tomorrow afternoon, I would imagine midday PST would probably be when that would happen.
Yeah. It's crazy this week because of Stanford Blockchain Week.
Not earlier than, no, definitely not. I don't think there's any way that we launch this thing before midday Thursday PST. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps us up. If you guys have any more questions, hit me or Zaki up on Twitter. Always happy to answer them there. I'm at Jack_Zampolin.
I'm at Manian.
Nice. Well, see you guys next week, and thank you very much for the questions.